Harry Nelms, why are you here? Who are you?
Oh. I am your least favourite weightlifter's least favourite weightlifter. Why am I here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Why have you turned up?
I was asked very politely, and I'm here to ask you questions that you won't ask yourself.
Like, what would you do if you got babyfied? Harry is here to ask me those questions that I won't ask myself, or that it feels a bit too awkward to talk about by myself.
It's kind of awkward to bring it up.
I'm like, oh, by the way, did I mention I won the English champs? Oh, spoiler alert.
But it's also like, some of the stuff, it mightn't paint you in the best light.
An expose.
This is a BBC panorama. Who am I?
You're the love of my life. You are my wonderful boyfriend. We share a common living space. So I suppose you've seen all the ups and downs of my training and my nutrition and my life.
Indeed. It's been hectic. So for this episode, what can people expect from me being on the podcast?
Expect the unexpected. Expect a very chaotic interview. It's going to be asking me all about the English Championships. Well, why don't you tell them what we're going to be talking about, since you're going to be asking me all these damn questions?
Since you got your degree and you think you know every fucking thing.
Since you want to quiz me.
So we have pre-comp life chaos. We have the cut.
This is a really off-the-cuff interview.
George's opinions on Taylor Swift currently.
I don't remember writing this.
The lifts plus attempt selection. Mindset and takeaways.
Like the Thai food we had afterwards.
Exactly. Reverse roles.
I hadn't briefed him on that.
Okay, pre-comp.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give people a mix of what was going on with your life? What's going on with your life?
Well, we've been in the process of trying to buy a house for quite a while, which is pretty standard for it to drag out. And then we finally got to the point where we were going to be moving in. And then it was like, what if it was the week before English? And then it was supposed to be the week after, which was kind of like, okay, well, chaos, but also gives me a distraction during the post-comp period, which can be a little bit of a...
Post-comp blues, if you will.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a come down.
I think you channeled a lot of your hangries into the house stuff.
Do you think?
No, I know. And I live with you.
Yeah, the house was stressful. And then also had my granddad very sadly passed away in the summer, and grandma didn't want a traditional funeral, so she organised an event.
It was a birthday party quinceañera funeral.
Exactly. A family get together. And so the day before competition, we drove up to Sheffield. Yeah, it was my granddad's memorial, which was obviously a bit emotional. And from a non-emotional standpoint, just the practical side of being in the car, usually I just like to completely chill and switch off the day before comp. I almost feel like some people would like to stay distracted and not think about it. I kind of like to have that chance to think about it, because then by the time I get to competition, I feel like ready. Whereas I feel like it kind of hit me quite suddenly that it's like, oh, here I am, I'm at the competition. But usually I think I get some of that nervous energy out the day before. But because there was such a complete distraction, I almost went to bed not really feeling like I was competing tomorrow. I mean, like, relatively, I haven't done that many weightlifting competitions because I spent many years doing CrossFit first. So each one I am very much learning new things, and I suppose it's not something that I would necessarily have noticed until I tried the opposite, which was being busy the day before. And yeah, I definitely think that not being busy the day before...
allowing yourself to really ponder.
and allowing myself to really...
Dwell
on the fact that I'm competing the next day.
You want to let it really sit on your shoulders like it's an emotional weight. You want it to drag you down. You don't want it to lift you up. Yeah. You want it to really feel like a chore.
Yeah, I want to spend the day before comp just kind of pushing myself into a deep, dark depression.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, it can only go up from here.
Spoiler alert, there's a secret third option.
I tried that. Yeah, life chaos. What else was there?
You don't slow down for love nor money.
I don't know how to relax, something I'm working on. But I also find that I'm really enjoying my work with doing the podcast and A and B work as well. So,
and for those at home who don't know what A and B is,
the Athlete Nutrition Blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-comp, I see that week of training less as, oh my God, I've got more time and do more work, which can be a good thing. Also not a good thing, but then if I just kind of do less, then I'm just thinking about all the stuff that I could be doing in that free time and almost anticipating that training's going to start up again. I'm going to be really busy and stressed, so I may as well use this time.
Georgia doesn't have being lazy ingrained into her bones. When she doesn't do things, she becomes very sad.
Yeah, I would say so.
when I don't do things, I become much happier.
Yeah, like if I have a PJ day, if I go too far with it, then I feel more depressed rather than like I could maybe have a PJ morning and then do a little bit of something in the afternoon and then I'd feel quite good.
And then work till like 12 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. I mean, what time is it now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was
this whole
thing was your idea.
So,
yes.
At any point during this, are you just kind of thinking, I really don't want to do this anymore. I really think I'm going to pull out the English.
Not really. No, it was feeling a little bit weird because like I felt like there were a lot of athletes dropping out. Like more.
They were dropping like flies.
Yeah, it was literally like every time I went on Instagram, it was like someone else had put a story saying that they weren't going, and I'm like, is anyone going to even be there? I don't know. I feel like having a bit of hype around the competition where like everyone's going to be there helps it feel more like a big thing. And that's not to say that it wasn't because a few people had dropped out. But it starts to kind of feel a bit like
empty.
Yeah, and you start to see like start lists getting smaller and smaller when the past few Britishes and Englishes, they've been like really, really packed
stacked.
And it's been really chaotic. I wouldn't say stacked, just like they put the 81s and the 77s together. So then everyone was like opening at 90. And so this was it just felt different. And then like knowing the start list going in, I knew I was in a position to win. Like just based on numbers in terms of, you know, your entry total objectively. If I didn't win, it would be because someone had really, really like come out of nowhere and added like a pretty big amount to their total.
Or taken a retractable baton to your knee.
Or I had bombed, right? Just because that's how weightlifting works. Thinking about this the other day, like you can go into a CrossFit comp and you can have an attitude of like, I could outwork someone today. Like
I have that every day I go into the office. I could.
I know that's not true. I could, in theory. No, but you can go into a competition and like you can know who's there, but you've always got a chance because someone could mess up their pacing. Someone could just kind of throw the towel in. Whereas weightlifting, like once you get to a certain point and if people are pretty consistent mindset wise, in theory, like my total has been between 210 and 204 this year.
Yeah.
Every single total I've hit. So if someone goes into a competition against...
Regardless of how many lifts are made, by the way.
Oh yeah, it doesn't... I'm yet to go 6 for 6. But like if you think about going into a competition, knowing I, as a lifter, everyone else competing against me can pretty much guess what I'm going to hit. It's going to be between this and this, unless I have a really good day. Whereas in CrossFit, it might be like a 5K run and you know someone's a good runner. But like, what if they kind of like get a bit tired or the last workouts fatigue them or you just have that grit?
Or they just want to sit down and have a drink.
But genuinely, like and I know you can mentally clock out in weightlifting, but it's not the same in terms of like, you can kind of clock out, but you know what you can lift. Whereas in CrossFit, like one of my last CrossFit comps, I went white on the floor. Like my face went really, really pale.
Sickly Victorian child pale.
Honestly, I was falling behind people that on paper, like I should have been beating. And like, I think that's an example of where in CrossFit, there is a lot more variation day to day and within a competition because of the nature of the sport being a lot more variable. Whereas in weightlifting, it should be a lot more predictable for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think going into the English with the highest total was a new situation. Speaking to my coach, like I've had a good block of training. Like clean and jerks, I've been feeling strong. Like I hit 117 in training.
Didn't you clean 125 from the block?
Yeah, I've had definitely some big strength increases this year, but for me it's always balancing up being able to transfer my strength to the Olympic lifts, because if I put all my eggs into the squatting basket, which my squat holds my lifts back, then I might get a stronger squat but my pull's fallen behind, and like so it's kind of this constant like... You
might be the only member of the GB squad bar Myron who can clean like 97% of their front squat max.
Well, when I hit the 125 clean from the blocks, the day before I was supposed to have hit some front squats, I think at 130. No, I think they were supposed to be at 127. I think I failed 127. I couldn't front squat 127.
That sounds about right.
Next day, block clean 125. Thing is, if you catch it right, when you do a clean, you're only doing half the rep. You don't have to do the eccentric.
This is true.
And you don't have to stand with it on your shoulders thinking about how heavy it feels and remembering how to breathe.
Yeah, you sometimes forget how to do that, which kind of brings us on to your performance at the English.
Clocked. Basically, I had a good prep. I went in and I wanted to hit 215 total, and that didn't feel out of reach.
I mean, It's not. Like, having watched your lifts in training, you're regularly snatching in the 90s, you're regularly clean and jerking like 115.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just keeping your brain conscious long
I've
enough
cleaned
to make the
120 a
jerk.
few times. And I think one of the things with my lifting is that after something clicked many, many years ago when I hit my first 100 kilo jerk, then I feel like after that, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, if she cleans it, she's going to jerk it. But as my clean has got better and my front squat has got heavier, what happens is that I can maybe withstand more of a grind. I can get out of an imperfect clean, but whether I can stay conscious and then also whether I just have enough in my legs, because like you wouldn't expect to hit your PB front squat and then be able to hit a split jerk,
no,
right?
of course.
But at the same time, it was like, well, I hit a 130 jerk from the blocks. My jerks were feeling good. So we took the foot off the gas a little bit with the jerks because there were other things that needed more attention.
Like me.
Exactly. But then I think other things caught up. Like, okay, well now I've gone and I've cleaned 116 twice in a row on a platform. Happened at Worlds where I did make the lift. And then at the English, I cleaned 116 twice. Whereas British last year, remember I cleaned 113, got no lifted because it was a dirty clean. And then I couldn't make the second lift. But I felt at the top of that lift like I could have made the jerk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a constant kind of back and forth between trying to work on one thing without letting something else slide, and then knowing when you're never going to be like, oh yeah, my front squat is heavy enough or strong enough. Like it's always going to benefit you to be better at any individual component of the lift, but it's kind of getting that balance right. And
well, that's just weightlifting in a nutshell though, isn't it? There's always a limiting factor.
Yeah, it's interesting because you can watch people lift and it's like, oh, she needs to work on this or he needs to work on that. And it's like, well, maybe they have been working on that, or maybe they only seem to need to work on that now because prior to that, like competition training block, something else was very much the limiting factor. And now that's better. Now it's like, oh shit, I need to work on my jerk. Whereas previously, like, why do I need to work on my jerk loads when I can't even clean it? Yeah, there's balance to be had. And so got some split jerks to do, which will be fun. But I know there's something that improves quickly for me.
Yeah, and you do enjoy doing them.
Yeah, I like doing them.
The calorie deficit, the fiber cut. Discuss. I lived with you.
Yeah, and?
How do you actually feel your cut went?
I feel like it went fairly well. There are elements that could have been better. Obviously, we went to Berlin.
Oh, Berliner Unterwalden. I have dreams about them.
In October. And that interruption.
Speaking of interruptions. Come on, Bean.
Oh, you little bean. Okay, good boy. You settle there. So yeah, I felt like Berlin, it was my birthday, a little bit of like just a disruption to routine, which I then just find a lot harder to get back into, especially when there's so much life stuff happening.
Yeah, like we met our hero, and you know what they say about meeting your heroes?
Don't do it.
So...
yeah, Ethel Kane made me binge eat. I'm joking, she didn't really. And I also just think being so busy, I find it harder to stay active. Even just going into competition prep, as volume goes down, intensity goes up.
Well, you've gone from doing a couple triples in a session to doing a single and a double.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, your energy expenditure goes massively down. And it was one of the things I used to struggle with when I first started doing weightlifting and peaking. I did a block peak for the comp, and my weight had been fine because I'd been doing sets of 3 and sets of 2. And then when I stripped it down to singles and doubles, I'm like, right, well, I need to take the dog on like an extra 10 minutes of a walk.
Which is like the worst time of year for that to happen.
Yeah.
Right now, because the weather's so shit as well.
Oh, yeah, it was that time of year as well.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
And also just taking some extra time to do a bit of cardio, which like actually is something that I enjoy, can be difficult. It's like the guilt around relaxation and just being able to like manage my time that well. So yeah, those things made it harder, but I was like, I'm not letting myself water cut because I have worked too hard for this. My training's going so well. I will not put myself in a position that I have to be like sweating it out. And like I talked about in my episode about cutting, where I was lying in bed in my Primark pajamas, literally drenched in sweat.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. I know it will impact my performance. I would say the fiber cut wasn't perfect. I'd woken up light and then I'd woken up heavy unexpectedly the following day as my fiber cut started. Maybe next time I just need to do an extra day. I maybe mistimed it a little bit. It can vary different times of the month. It can vary depending on how much I've been eating, hydration, all of those things, and even just activity levels. Otherwise, if we'd been at home, I probably would have been going for a walk, moving, and that would have kept things moving a little bit more than sitting in the car, sitting at a meal. So I think that probably played into it. That was the cut, really.
So do that with that.
One thing that I'll be working on, over the coming months really, is just maintaining my weight well. I'm aiming for like between 77 and 79 kilos, just because previously I'd be like, if my weight goes above 80, even up to like 81, it's fine. I can like lose the weight. I'm not panicking like I maybe would have years ago because that's too heavy. I feel fat. But now I've realized that every time my weight does drift up, I just gain more muscle.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. Like your ability to put muscle on should be studied.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to like correlate to actually gaining strength.
It's some good PBs as block.
Yeah, but proportionally, some people just seem to be able to get strong without getting heavier and more muscular. But yeah, every time I get heavier, I gain more muscle, and then it just gets harder and harder to cut. So then to stay as a 77 will get harder and harder. And because they've wonderfully changed the weight classes, my next alternative is no longer 81, is it? It's 86.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit too far, especially when I'm 5'5", to be competitive in that division.
Well, I also think that like they'll probably change the weight classes next week anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, give them a few days.
Yeah.
Have a little think, have another meeting.
So I've seen 2 cuts now in terms of this year. We had the Whirly Champs in Norwegia and we had the Ingy Champs in England. How did those cuts compare? Because I would say one of them you were far more miserable than the other.
Yeah, this one didn't seem anywhere near as extreme.
No.
Like Worlds, I felt like I was starving.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah.
So
I think I've kind of blanked that out of my memory.
So Georgia can get quite overwhelmed at times. But when she's hungry, it's like the threshold for that is far lower. And I would say I behave in a similar way to the Grinch when he's like winding up the dog.
Yeah, I would say that.
Or perhaps I live my life as though I am the personified Cat in the Hat played by Mike Myers.
I mean, you do regularly do impressions and like
Dirty Ho.
It's not like I'm the equivalent. Like you literally will do regular impressions of the Cat in the Hat, and it's usually when I'm really fucking hungry.
Yeah, so I would say you were far less annoyed with me during this build.
I would say I also just was not as hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't having to do as much. Just because it wasn't that much of a turnaround between British and Worlds, and so then you have that bit of a relaxation, and then you're like, oh shit, like I've got to go. And it's one of the reasons that I want to just stay a little bit more on top of things in terms of maintenance, which is like something I always say and always promote and help my clients with, but obviously sometimes we don't always do exactly what we say we're going to do for many different reasons. And it's one of those things as well, the harder the cut is, the more you feel like you need a big rebound. So the ideal scenario for me is not having to do anything too extreme at any point, because you can kind of have like a celebratory meal like we did yesterday, but not literally feel like, oh my God, I've been deprived for months and I need to go crazy. It becomes a lot easier to get back into your routine. So yeah, it was less of a stressful cut, better managed, but still some lessons learned.
So if someone listening to this podcast, what advice would you give them for their first cut, if that's something they're doing?
I would advise them to go ahead and watch episode, I think it might be 7, but start early. Do everything that you can with a calorie deficit. So plan it out in advance. Don't get to 6 weeks, 3 weeks, a week before your competition and think, oh shit, I need to lose the weight now. It's part of nutrition periodization. So you plan your nutrition phases with your training. If you know you've got a comp coming up, you are planning exactly how you're going to make weight for that comp as soon as you know you've got that comp, even if it's months away.
Yeah.
Obviously managing your weight year round and doing the majority of it with a calorie deficit if you need to. But also for most people, just compete in the weight class that you naturally fall into, unless, it's qualification is on the line or you are a much more experienced lifter. Basically for a competitive reason, I think a lot of people put a lot of stress and pressure on cutting weight. It's almost like an automatic thing, like, oh, what?
Thin is in.
Unfortunately so, but even before heroin chic came back in.
It does feel like an innate reaction to, because I still remember the first conversation I had about competing, and the guy was like, oh, you should compete. I was weighing about 89 kilos at this point, and this is when the 85 kilo class was a thing. I was like, oh, I could cut to 85. Couldn't have.
Yeah, but the natural instinct, I suppose, is like, okay, well, you're automatically going to place higher in theory, apart from when, the Olympic classes come in and other ones aren't Olympic classes. But in general, you're going to place higher in a lighter weight class if you can hit the same total. The issue is that when people cut badly or when they don't fit into the weight class, then they can't hit the same total, or they hit a lower total, but to the point that it's like even worse in that class, or they can't make it to that class, or they get injured as they're doing it, or they're like quite early on in their weightlifting journey think, oh, I could cut into that weight class, when actually you need to give yourself some space to grow into your weight class if you're just starting out.
Yeah. You need no room to grow into your weight class though.
No, I know, but when I started, I was 73.5 kilos and I was wanting to cut down to the 71s.
My God.
Yeah, I'd have been emaciated.
Yeah, you would have. Because even now, like, there's a huge difference between you at 78 and 79 kilos to you at 77, like, on the cusp. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like overnight you basically gain a pair of abs.
A set.
You gain a nativity of abs, I think is the...
Yeah.
Okay, so on this, I have a memoir about your coach misloading your bar during snatch.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah, no, you didn't actually tell me this.
No, I kept meaning to, but I think every time we were having a conversation about things, you'd interrupt me, like, when I was in the... So, warm-upping area.
You were in the warming area.
The warm-upping area, yeah.
And you were doing the warming up.
The warming up on the snatching, yeah. And Harry is obviously loading my bar. Coach Harry.
Harry Bow.
I haven't even told him that Mum calls him that.
Have you not told him?
No.
You probably should. Just send him this clip.
Yeah. So basically, my coach's like name on Instagram is like Harry-O with lots of I's, but my mum misread it as Harry Bow.
Which I think is really funny because this man has his life together.
But my mum just thinks it's really funny to call him Harry Bow to me. She's like, "Oh, you're going to see Harry Bow?" And she's like, "Does he know I call him Harry Bow?" And she obviously like, desperately wants me to tell him. So yeah, Harry Bow.
He's such a distinguished gentleman. The idea that we call him Harry Bow.
It's very silly. He's very professional. He's a school teacher.
He's so professional.
So professional, which is why I can't believe he made this huge error, which I'm thinking of firing him for. I'm joking.
Idiot!
No, so I don't really know how he, in general, manages, like, coaching me and Myron. I can't figure out men's bars and, like, usually gets the loading perfectly right. Actually, there was one other time, but it was clean calls.
It's all coming out now.
Anyway, and I honestly can't tell you exactly what happened because I don't know where the misload came from. But my warm-ups were, I think, the plan was to go 65, 75, or maybe it was like 65, 73, 78, 83,
87.
87 for an opener of 91.
Makes sense.
So my penultimate warm-up lift was going to be 83. And so Harry's just getting ready to load 83 on the bar. And I'm like, I think that is 83. And I'd just done it, which means that I'd missed 78, maybe?
So you went 73, 83?
Think so.
That's pretty wild. It's a big old jump.
I didn't feel very good. Like, it didn't feel awful. It felt quite heavy. But the thing is, because it didn't feel great, like, I won't say, oh, that felt really bad. I'm just not going to speak it into existence.
Manifest, if you will.
If I'm having a bad day, or it feels like I'm having a bad day in the back room, I'm not saying anything. And I know for a fact that Harry won't say anything either. I won't lie, like, it didn't feel great. Like, felt like more than a 5 kilo jump, because it was a 10 kilo jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Harry misloaded my bar, and that...
Idiot. God, he's so stupid.
He actually went home and gave himself 50 lashes of the whip. So yeah, that happened, but I think just getting better at not really letting these things faze me.
That's fair. You wouldn't have thought that that was the case when you came out for your opener.
No.
Because you pretty much smoked your opener. It was a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
I did think you might kill the centre ref.
It's not that bad. I think one of the hardest things I find on all of my openers at any comp, but especially the English and the British, is the balance, because the focal point is really hard to find. Basically, like, having a spot to focus on obviously calibrates everything in terms of, like, your awareness of where you are in space. One of the things that affects that is obviously your vision. And if I'm used to lifting and having a certain focal point at a certain distance or at a certain level, then that makes a difference on your first lift in every competition. But more so at the English and British, there's no stage and the audience are right there in front of you. They are walking past. So you kind of come out on the platform, you figured out your focal point, hands on the bar, set up to lift, and then you look up and some fuckers like fucking waving at you, basically. Like, literally, like, doing a little dance. And it sounds like an excuse, but that would be like going to a tennis match. Like, tennis is like a good example of a sport where there's an etiquette. Right? People are quiet when the match is on, when they're playing.
Yeah.
And that's known in weightlifting, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have them turning down the music when you walk out on the platform and start setting up for your lift.
No, that's true.
Which they do at the British and the English, except
it's pointless.
Because actually, when they turn down the music, it means that you can hear the buzzer on someone else's platform, or you can hear someone going, "That's a no lift." And you're like, great, that's exactly what I want to hear when I'm setting up.
Yeah.
Which, like... excuses, but it makes a difference. Like, I can perform like I did CrossFit. It's just, it would be nice to have something consistent to train. Like,
yeah, you take a tier 3,
yeah,
and you compare it to what you do at a tier 2 event like the English champs,
yeah,
or a tier 1 like the British champs, and it is like, basically, okay, you've qualified, well done. Now see if you can survive the harshest conditions known to man.
Yeah, like it used to be that a tier 3 was a lot more like
Rowdy
than a tier 1.
Yeah.
And now it's like a tier 3 in terms of environment actually replicates a world championships more than the British to an extent.
Yeah.
In terms of your ability to focus as a lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes a difference. Like, there's so much going on. There's something I've got better at, definitely. Like, I had someone walk in front of me while I was doing my warm-up lifts, and I didn't really think until after. I was like, oh yeah, that would have in the past, like, really thrown me. And, like, it didn't. So it's not something that I'm just sitting back and being like, oh, poor me, like, because everyone's in the same boat. But it would be nice. Because it's also that thing of, if we're using the British and things like that to qualify for internationals,
they should be representative of what that international is going to look like.
Yeah, in a similar way to CrossFit, back when it was just the Open, or when they took out quarterfinals, and it's like, we're going to go straight from the Open to the Games. And it's like, well, you had 30 kilo thrusters in the Open and all cardio, and now someone's at the Games and they can't snatch 70 kilos.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. There needs to be a stronger relation, I think, between the qualification and the event. You know, and it's a worse example of like this happening to a worse level would be doing virtual qualifiers.
That's a touchy point. Bitches love the virtual qualifiers.
But like, what does that take away? The nerves, the strict pressure of a weight
But
cut.
what does it add? That's what you need to ask yourself. It adds tissue under the scales so they appear lighter.
And that's the tea.
That
Is
how
how
Sue
Sue
sees
sees
it. As a spectator, I think you've only ever watched me lift twice.
Well, there was the first time on the live stream.
Yeah.
Oh no, there was the first time.
What, at the British?
To clarify, the first British I went to, I was watching the group before me lift, which our wonderful bestie Myron was lifting in.
Golden locks.
You'll never have his hair, I'm sorry.
I know.
But yeah, so I saw you at the British.
And I came third. Yeah, by quite a way off.
And I also came third, so we both had bronze medals.
Yeah.
I didn't know him at this time, and we can say that story for another day, but basically that's the first time I saw him, and I was like, I want that one. And I got him. So what else has there been? What about that one I coached you at?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, I had an existential at that one.
Well, you made a total, babe, so
Yeah, I did. It's more than I did in the last year, though.
yeah.
So yeah, you've seen me lift like 4 times. So I forgot where I was originally going with this point.
Just stating some facts.
Obviously, as a spectator, things are very different. You don't see what's going on in the background. As someone who coaches, when I watch like Dougie competing at internationals, you're kind of watching things unfold and you're like, well, I wouldn't have done that. Okay, well, I might have done that. But there's a lot that you don't see going on in the back room.
Yes.
So was there anything that was going on at the English that, apart from obviously taking a 10-kilo jump, is there anything that people weren't seeing? Because what I saw on the platform was you came out, you had a wobbly opener, and I thought, oh, fuck, shit, this could be a really bad day. You came out, you smoked your second attempt.
You say it could be a really bad day. That's my heaviest ever opener.
Yeah, this is true. But
I'm
I
just-
also know
I-
that you
I
had a
want-
plan.
Yeah, I wanted a 97 snatch, and so I needed to make that opener.
Exactly.
So,
So when I know you want a 97 snatch and you come out on
and then
91,
come out at 91's dodgy.
yeah, you start to think, oh, fuck, regardless of how today goes, even though it was the heaviest opener, it might not be the day she wanted.
Yeah, like my heaviest snatch came from an 89 opener.
Exactly. So was there anything going on that I wasn't seeing?
Not really. I think like I had a wobbly opener, but like I said, I think a lot of that comes from, it's calibrating myself to lifting on a platform, on that specific platform. You know, you do all your warm-up lifts in the back room on like the empty bar and 35 kilos, you get the chance to calibrate where you're going to look, all of that stuff. And then you're out on the platform. The platform is like wooden and has ridges. So, okay, right, I need to make sure that the bar isn't in the middle of a ridge because I've done that before and that's when my foot slipped. So literally little things like that. And then it's like the first lift, I find it disorientating. So I feel like getting my opener in, and I kind of just have to ignore the fact that it felt shit because it's happened so many times that my openers look like shit and my lifts have got tighter as I've gone on. I'd say nothing was really going on in the back room that was particularly stressful. I'd say because I don't tend to watch people lift, but because it was like right before I was going to go out, then I saw Ellen's 90 kilos and I was like, shit. So I'd say that's
If it helps, I also saw it and I was like, shit.
Like it was really solid lift and looked really, really strong. So then I'm like, I need to make 91. And then obviously I think she put 94 on, which was going to be my next attempt. So like, I don't stalk everyone's training. I don't do that stuff. So I'm looking at entry totals.
Yeah.
And so I'm not anticipating that someone's going to smoke 90 like that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And when Georgia says she doesn't stalk people's Georgia has a very specific curated feed on Instagram, and it consists of almost nothing other than really niche memes.
Yeah, I've curated my Instagram feed to almost be on a level with TikTok in terms of being pure
Brain
nonsense
rot
and brain rot.
garbage.
Yeah, so I don't keep up with people's lifts, and I think that's for me pretty healthy. So yeah, you see an entry total and then you see someone smoke 90 like that and then put 94 on it. It's like, I was like, she's obviously going to make that, and like she didn't. But like going into a competition not necessarily expecting that and then hitting a really wobbly 91, it's just slightly different. But ultimately, like, these are all thoughts that are very briefly fleeting through my head. I think almost more about them after the fact. In the moment, I have that thought come in because I've looked at the screen and seen this lift when I wasn't like intending on it, and I'm like, right, I'm ignoring that. But it can't help me.
Yeah.
If I was doing a 500-meter race and I can see someone neck and neck with me, seeing that can help me push harder. But when it's a lift, all you can do is your process for making the lift. Like, it's about accuracy more than effort.
Yeah.
So you start trying to put all this effort in and do too much.
You're doing too much.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's when things fall apart. I trying to be competitive, but like, you really have to stay in your own lane, because like, I can't go into a competition wanting to win and then someone pulls out a 100-kilo snatch and I go, I guess I'm just doing 101 today. Like, it doesn't work like that. If you get too caught up in what other people are lifting.
Yeah. No, of course.
For me, that it's just not helpful. And I think my mindset is like, I'm always going to do the best that I can do.
Yeah. So obviously you've mentioned your process, and your process is there's a lot of crazy smiling going on.
Yeah, so I think the smiling was something that I started maybe after the hellscape that was the English last year. English last year was like being in a horrible, horrible nightmare.
Grotesquerie, red haze.
It's not nice being out on the platform, not in like a fun underdog way, but in a literally like, these people are wanting me to fail. And like, if I do fail, they're going to post about it and laugh. So yeah, that was just a hellscape.
The vibes were bad. The vibes were rancid.
The vibes were rancid. So yeah, the crazy smiling, I think it wasn't supposed to be crazy. My thinking is like, have a process that's consistent in training and in competition. How can you make more things consistent? Well, one thing is the approach to the bar. And one of those things can be a smile, and not just a smile, but a mindset. And obviously talking to yourself, but not really feeling it, versus talking to yourself or like having those mantras, but also like expressing it with a smile. It's the fake it till you make it. I'm happy. I get to be here. I want to be here. I like lifting. Sounds like
you're in denial.
Yeah, I'm like, I love lifting. No, but it's a way to overcome the nerves. The nerves can be there. You can be smiling and being like, no, that's a good thing. I get to be here. This is exciting. That's my body being excited. Because it is like the adrenaline is the same as excitement, and you can read that.
You almost said anxiety.
But it's the same physical response. The anxiety, the excitement, it's adrenaline, it's anticipation. So like the smile is indicating that it's a positive thing. I'm here to enjoy it, and I will lift my best when I enjoy it. I'm not going to lift well because I'm sad or scared or any of those things. I'm going to lift well when I feel confident, and it's an expression of confidence. And it also, I think, sets me up to like stay composed and I suppose like have grace or like sportsmanship or whatever if things don't go well.
Yeah, because that's equally as important.
If you approach the bar all aggy and slap and all of this, which like absolutely fine, like if that's your process, great, and it works. But if that's all you have, what happens to it if you fail the lift? Does it get internalized? Does it get externalized?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think having that smile is just like, well, if I make the lift, woo, I'm happy. If I don't make the lift, a little wave and like, okay, great.
Say hello to your fans.
Mwah. It's like, well, it's okay. I just go again.
Yeah.
And I think if you've also psyched yourself up like big time for a lift and then you fail it, to like recreate that to me at least feels harder than just putting on a big crazy smile and giving it another go. But then, yeah, I did it at Worlds, and I didn't realize until I watched the footage that maybe it was a little bit too smiley. And it kind of reminded me of in year 6 when we took like a class photo, and my teacher literally came and told me off because he thought I was trying to ruin the photo by being silly.
What's his name?
No, he was really nice. It just obviously hadn't mastered my facial expressions and was smiling like,
"Aw, that's so cute."
Yeah, I think it's just that thing of like, oh, smiling means showing your teeth. So you're like, it's all my teeth.
Here's every single one of them.
That's my smiling process. So far, so good.
One thing I was interested about is there are plenty of people who will reject a second and third lift when they know they've won. And you'd won on your opening clean and jerk.
I had, but someone had another attempt.
Fair. I'm pretty sure you'd won on your opening clean and jerk.
I could have declined after they'd failed.
Yeah.
It's not like I'd won, done deal. It was like, I've made my opener. If they make this lift, then I need to do another lift.
Yeah.
I think.
Fair.
Again, I'm not really paying any attention,
That's probably the best thing to do.
which suits me well. I'm just going to lift what I can lift.
Yeah.
In terms of declining my second and third attempts, like it was never an option. I'd made a 91 snatch. No, I'd made a 94 kilo snatch. So
Yeah.
I wanted a 215 total.
You'd need a 1-2-1, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Which is not unreasonable for
I've
you.
cleaned 120 several times.
You've jerked 130.
Yeah. There's nothing to say. Like, at least I'm trying not to go into my clean and jerks,
Yeah, of course.
counting myself out. It's a little bit tougher once you failed the second attempt, because basically at that point, what I've got to fight for is matching my best total.
Yeah.
Which, I try to have something that is significant. Like if I'd put 96 on the bar for my final snatch, that doesn't mean as much to me.
No, of course.
Because I've already hit it.
Yeah.
And it was the same worlds, like Julie had suggested going up to 115 after I'd hit 112. Like obviously it's the first time working with her, and like it's an almost impossible job not knowing how someone lifts.
Yeah.
And most GB lifters don't have such a shit squat. So she's used to people standing up their cleans pretty nicely. And so to see me seemingly struggle on my first attempt, that doesn't set her up to think, oh yeah, she's good for a 4 kilo jump. Like on that occasion, amazing, she trusted me. I did fail my second attempt, but I went on to make 116. But if I'd put 115 on the bar, that was just to match a PB, like doesn't give the same fight. So yeah, putting like 116 on my second attempt and then failing it, it was like, well, if I make it, like it's still matching my best total.
Yeah.
And on fewer lifts, like if you make your best total because you had a perfect day versus making your best total on a not great day, that's progress.
Yeah.
Because
No,
then
of course.
you have a good day and your total's bigger.
Okay, but you still didn't answer the question. When did it sink in that you'd won?
I don't think you asked me that question. I think when the person who lifted after my first attempt failed their lift, and Harry was like, right, you've won, gold's yours. So this is just about expressing yourself and seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
This is about the work you put into training, lifting some big weights, which unfortunately was not to be. But I'd have been buzzing with 2 116 cleans a year ago. So it's...
This is true. And also, it must have felt good to be in the middle of the podium for
It
the
did.
first time.
But then I was lying in bed the next night and I was just thinking, that's so awkward on that podium. And I was like, I was supposed to grab their hands and go like that for the picture, but I've never been in the middle before. It's always been someone else grabbing my hand to do the picture.
I know.
So
Need some more forward thinking.
too stressed.
So you've obviously mentioned the world champs a couple of times.
Have I?
Yeah, you have. But one of the things that
You mentioned it first.
failed to do, which I have nagged about, is you don't post shit. You always on that damn phone and you don't post shit. You're like, here's a story to the link to watch me lift at the World Championships, and then radio silence. People think you might bomb. People might hope you might bomb. Basically, your Instagram, in terms of your athletic prowess and achievements, is giving us the same level of energy that Hilary Duff gave at the 2006 Rockefeller when she performed With Love. You gave us nothing.
I'm not familiar with the performance, but please don't speak ill of Hilary Duff like that. I started doing a post, but I got bored of the editing, and then that moment was gone. Basically.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say. I posted about the English.
Yeah, I know, because I told you to.
Yeah, you also told me to post about Worlds and I didn't. So like I'm trying to say like
You are starting to listen.
I try and listen. But yeah, what was your question about Worlds? If you want to talk about it.
Why did you keep quiet?
Nothing comes as easy as you can. I lay in your bed all day. It's Fall Out Boy.
Oh, fair.
It goes, keep quiet. Nothing comes as easy as you.
Oh, okay. Well, tell that World's post that it just made my list of things to do.
Today. I've just got so much to do.
You've just got so much going on.
I manage my whole department.
And you're very difficult to manage.
I guess it just didn't feel like a priority. I felt like I struggled with what to say because I was kind of like, oh, this is really cool. But then I'm like, oh, I didn't necessarily get the total that I wanted.
Did you ever think it was more about the total you made along the way?
Possibly. And then it felt like it was, when it's like too late. When it's like the boat has passed, that ship has sailed, the boat has passed. I don't think that's the same.
The boat has passed.
Yeah, I think the ship had sailed, it felt like, and it was like almost the English. I was like, I don't really know.
You just have a real issue about posting on Instagram, I can't lie.
I really don't. I don't like it.
I know, which is crazy given that you're self-employed.
I feel like this is
an intervention.
We're
going off script.
I think sometimes I don't want to post on Instagram, like on my business page, if I'm just posting for the sake of posting, because it doesn't feel valuable. It just feels like I want to post something that I care about. And then when I start making posts, then I just spend too long on them and then I get bored. Which is why I'm doing the podcast.
But obviously Worlds is a huge thing. Like, in terms of the level of competition you've done, it doesn't get much higher than that. You were at the biggest weightlifting competition in the calendar yearly.
I think a few things come into it. One of them having been to the CrossFit Games. Sure. If you consider the way the CrossFit Games is presented, you know, like
fittest on earth.
You know, you walk into the venue and it's cool and the stage is really cool and like they've got an Alico stand. Like CrossFit Games, they had a Monster booth where it was literally like they really got the vibe wrong. Monster was trying to like get into CrossFit, not realizing that they basically had a load of female dancers in like metallic booty shorts, kind of going for that party aesthetic, rather than fitness aesthetic. Like health and performance. You go into the CrossFit Games, those women are like not there to be objectified. Yeah.
Not that any woman would be there to be.
No, but they're not there to think about looking pretty. Like they look amazing, but that is not the most interesting thing about them. Far from it.
Of course.
And like it was like, just not the vibe. But the point being, a stall with free Monster and Fit Aid everywhere, free. Every major fitness brand is there giving free stuff apart from the European brands. So it was Nocco and Bear Bells that were coming through.
Oh, yeah.
And they were trying to charge £3 for a protein bar. Couple of days in, it was all free because every other brand was just free.
Regardless. It's PR, isn't it?
Well, exactly. It's a huge, huge event. Like there's tickets for different events. Tickets sell out for the Coliseum. So you go from that, being starstruck, just isn't so much of a thing because you've already had that moment's already passed. And then in terms of like the spectacle of it and the nerves, like being at the CrossFit Games, being in the teams, not being in the top heats, we weren't, you know, in the same way that the C group isn't packed out crowd. Same goes for a lot of the team events, and especially if you haven't qualified towards the top. So like I think that would probably play into it more had I not been to the CrossFit Games and already had that like experience of like, and I think it's a lot more like climactic when you get the news and like everyone's celebrating, it's this big exciting thing, whereas this is kind of like, here's an email, book your flight, see you there. So it doesn't feel.
That is one of the things that has seriously irritated me in my time of weightlifting, is the embargo on selection. Once the team is selected, it doesn't make sense that they can't announce that. It prohibits them from any sort of serious sponsorships.
Yeah, because how cool would it be in future to be able to do a YouTube series where I'm like, this is my prep for World Championships?
Yeah.
Like, that would be... Yeah. I mean, hopefully people would find that interesting. And then like from a personal point of view, as an athlete, like I don't earn money as an athlete.
No.
I work full time.
There's no money in sport. Well,
it depends what sport. It depends if you're male or female. Depends where you live. And depends how many Instagram followers you have.
Yeah, true.
Right? And so... like, I'm very fortunate. It's not like I've got some big struggle of having to work a load of jobs to make ends meet because, like, my parents are very, very supportive, but I don't have funding.
No.
Like, I pay for my coaching. Obviously, I wouldn't want Harry to coach me for free, but as in, like, there isn't any funding, like, even just to an allowance for your coaching fees. People don't see that from the outside. Like, people will refer to me or ask me, like, are you a professional athlete?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not a professional athlete. Like, but then you sound like a dick saying I'm an elite athlete. But like,
I'm not a professional athlete, but I am in that kind of that top 1%.
But I would be if there was money in my specific sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what was the
question? So a competition can be very introspective.
I like to look inwards.
Never outwards.
Unless there's something funny to look at. I will not elaborate.
What did this competition teach you about yourself?
Probably just that I'm the baddest bitch in this club. All black fit, call me Danny Phantom. I suppose, what did it teach me? I'd say more like the experience of, I think, being able to go in a different position any other competitions where there was a pressure to win. Like I haven't been in that position before. Previously, obviously aside from tier 3s, if I've gone into a competition where I've had the potential to win, there's always been someone who has maybe hit a similar or higher total to me before. So like it on paper was more neck and neck. So by not winning, there was a good excuse. There was a good
Yeah, I get
like,
you.
cop out.
Well, I hadn't factored for this.
Yeah. Whereas this was like my openers were going to be heavier than anyone else's entry total. So,
Okay.
but
Okay, Diva.
and what my openers were 91, 112, so it was 203. So even without the 94 snatch, that would be enough to win. So
Yeah, of course.
the pressure really was like just a different type of pressure.
Yeah.
So just having that experience is quite positive, knowing that I can handle it.
Yeah, of course. So I suppose that's kind of your takeaway of, whilst you might not have necessarily been proud of your performances on a numerical level, you can take that away as a, okay, well, no, I did do something at this comp, even though it wasn't.
Bit of redemption to hit 94 again.
Yeah, no, this is true.
Getting a no lift for it at Worlds.
Oh, such a crock of shit, mind.
But yeah, so it was a bit of redemption for that and like a stepping stone towards, another heavier snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was frustrated with my clean and jerks because I've hit that weight enough times.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those things.
So what's next?
Well, Worlds was part of the qualification process for the Commonwealth Games.
The commie G's, if you will.
So you have to do 2 out of a list of IWF sanctioned events. So the ones for Team England being the World Champs and the European Champs, which are in April next year.
And they're where?
In Georgia.
Georgia, I love your son.
Yeah. So hopefully, like I don't know.
Hopefully Georgia will be in Georgia.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I've hit the numbers, I think, but it's one of those that I don't know exactly what the process for that is going to be.
Yeah, of course. So, 2026, Commie G's. Speak it into existence. Hold the microphone and speak it into existence. You have to.
I'm objectively really far behind on the rankings. Yeah, so 2026, we'll see about Europeans.
It's another tick on the checklist of things to do.
I would like to qualify for something for GB.
That's a good goal.
Which is why I wanted a 215 total. That's the qualifying total for the Europeans for GB.
You got one of those nice new SBD singlets.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah, because I believe you mentioned you had a little bit of an itch watching me compete.
Yeah, I did. So I took some time off from competing. Long story short, as Taylor Swift said, it was a bad time. Long
story short, you survived.
I did. By the skin of my teeth. I coached Georgia at the British, really enjoyed it. Did it with Em. It's always a fun day when me and Em do coach, mainly because it's just pretty chaotic. We coached Kim at Wild Ball. It was like my first time meeting Kim, and we sent him out for his opener, and Em just went, "Go on, Tim." And then we spent the entire minute whilst he was lifting, like, "Did you just say Tim?" Like, it felt awful. Missed his opener entirely.
Yeah, I'd miss my opener if someone called me the wrong name.
Yeah, no. And then when I coached G at the British, I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's me absolutely done. I had ran out of antidepressants that week. And I was like, I'm not doing the British. This is not happening. I'm never weightlifting again. But I'll coach. And I coached Georgia and I had a nice time. But I was like, normally I have the itch to be like, oh, no, I want to lift. Like,
yeah, and you didn't get it from that.
Yeah, there are 2 types of people in this world. They're the ones who entertain and the ones who observe. And I'm a put on a show kind of girl. But I didn't have it at that.
Yeah, it's quite unlike you.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I've had my time. There's been...
It's 26, mind you.
Watching Georgia compete at the English, I was like, maybe I could be a put on a show kind of girl again.
Basically, he's like, she got gold, she's in the spotlight.
I need the spotlight. Yeah. I did specifically buy a singlet to do the British in because I was like, well, this thing's not going to train for the love of it. Because when I competed in May, I was just having an existential the entire time. Like, Georgia was looking at me and she was like, right, number 1, you've practically gone translucent. You're pale. Can you please look like you're enjoying yourself?
I don't remember it being that bad.
I felt like I was having a meltdown. I had fun doing it afterwards. Like when I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad I did that. But during it was not a fun experience. But anywho, I am training probably the most consistently I've ever trained. I'm consistently doing all of my sessions. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. See, G does my programming. One of the big pushes has been kind of getting stronger legs.
Yeah, just taking a bit of the pressure off, like a lot of doing your programming, having seen your mentee Bs.
Oh yeah, and they've been a plethora.
Ultimately, like, we can't force you to love weightlifting. We don't need to. But, like,
no.
It's more like, okay, well, if you do want to stick with this, should we find out if you actually do enjoy it? And if so, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And also just finding variations to take the pressure off. We just kind of didn't really do the full lift from the floor. It was kind of like everything but just a regular snatch and a regular clean and jerk.
Yeah. And if it was a regular snatch or a regular clean and jerk, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And just squats in general. I'm typically moving, not to your extent, high percentages of my front squat, but like. You've seen what I used to front squat like, and it was like, basically, can I stand this up before my spine splits in two?
Yeah, like I think there's a lot of weightlifting coaches who only think of the Olympic lifts themselves as lifts to coach. They'll coach the snatch and they'll coach the clean and jerk, but they don't see the benefit of actually like coaching the pull or coaching the squat. And it's like, it's pretty wild of you to assume that someone's just squatting well just because they can squat heavy. And I'm looking at you and it's like your heels are coming up and your back is rounding. And okay, so what happens if we drop the weight? Okay, it's still happening. So we need to we're not trying to perfect your movement, but we are trying to make it as good as it can be for you.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we're taking pressure off like the outcome and the numbers. And like putting the emphasis on like moving well or like making something feel good or
and getting yoked.
Yeah, getting massive biceps. Got a comment at work, didn't you?
I did. So they were like, "Oh my God, you're looking really big in your shirt," and I was like, "It's because I kind of am." But yeah, no, the training has been a big difference in that it's the first time I've trained because I want to train, not because I have to train, because I have these goals that I once said a blue moon ago that I need to do.
I've been enjoying the challenge at times.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
No, because when you do have little breakthroughs and turn corners, it's really fun. It's quite frustrating when I am like training with you and then I give you a coaching cue and then you come up with an excuse as to why like you can't do that rather than just like take on the cue. Keep your heels down in your squat. You're like, well, I just can't. And I'm like, but you did on the last rep. And then they came up on the second rep.
Well, that's crazy because they felt the same.
I think there might be one video of your training yesterday where I literally just go,
oh yeah, no, yeah, there was. I was looking at that. I was like, I'm not going to post that one.
Did you see where I pulled a face?
Yeah.
I think I shook my head and then I realised, well, I'm just going to see that.
So rude.
So I thought, why not have some spontaneous fun by planning it out and putting it in a Google Doc and printing it out and making sure we both have a copy.
The only thing you didn't do was laminate it.
Speaking of, what's your biggest competition ick?
Mine? You go first, because I need to think about mine. I need to think how I word this.
No, I have a good one.
Okay.
So, I don't know if this counts specifically as a competition ick. It's related to competition, but it is. Every time you compete and don't hit the total that you wanted or like a PB total, there's a really, really long Instagram caption listing all of the things that happened. Like, we've discussed all of those things in this episode, but objectively, like, I'd been training well.
Yeah.
I didn't hit the total I wanted on the day because I didn't hit the total I wanted on the day. But my God, it's so funny how like pre-comp people can be like, everything's so perfect. Post-comp, if they don't have a good day, like 6 of their grandparents died that week. I think it was Worlds. And I think that was one of the reasons that I couldn't bring myself to post. I'm just like, I did not hit the total I wanted. But I just can't bring myself to write like a long moany Instagram caption about like, oh, poor me, because I lifted 2 kilos less than I wanted to, and like life's really hard, you know?
Yeah, it's so tough.
On the one hand, it's so important to me. On the other hand, it's not important to me. It's like what I've said about like trans athletes. This is like too big of a conversation for this, but we obviously all want fair sport, but sport is inherently unfair. If I could never compete again, like if sport was stripped from me, but that granted trans people rights and safety and proper healthcare, that's a no-brainer. Like, being able to compete is a privilege. It's not a basic human right.
Yeah, when you come from that, you have a life outside of weightlifting.
Yeah, I suppose if you didn't have anything else to your life than weightlifting and you couldn't really see outside of your own little box and someone beat you who you didn't think deserved to beat you, and it's like, yeah, that girl beat you over there because she's been on fucking steroids for years, but you don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it's part of a much wider discussion, but if you've got an issue with trans people in sport, then you need to be having an issue with drugs in sport, because that's more widespread and a bigger issue in stealing medals from you, actually, even on a domestic level, because people are getting popped all the time. People you don't suspect.
Anyone could be the killer.
Anyone could be a killer.
Anybody could be doping. Me, you, Stevie Weezy.
Stevie Weezy.
That guy.
That guy.
I can't get over that prohibited list.
I can't get over that movie.
Biggest competition ick.
Honestly, I don't know. I find it all a little bit icky. Taking it seriously? What's your biggest training ick? I have mine. Basically referring to weightlifting as like doing battle or any sort of like war reference. Like, you're not going to war. You're going to the gym and you haven't spoken to a soul all day. Death.
I agree with that. Another training ick is always wearing belt and knee sleeves for everything.
Okay, well, you can just say me next time.
No, but everything. Like, why are you doing all that on your warm-up?
If I see someone wear a belt on an empty bar.
Scream.
So that kind of leads us on to probably coaching icks. I have several coaching icks. I hate shit talking in the back room. I hate shit talking.
I didn't really think that was a thing. I thought that was just bad etiquette.
No, you could also call it that. So if that's kind of like acting out of the ordinary, there are several other things that act out of the ordinary. One of them being poor personal hygiene. I understand you work in a gym, but you smell like ass.
Also, keep your shoes on.
I don't want to see toes.
Why are your bare feet on my platform? I want to see it.
The grubby toes.
I would say, I suppose for me, like there's an ick or like a red flag. I would say like coaches who, you always see their athletes literally doing the exact same thing.
Cut and paste.
Yeah. When someone's like, personalized programs, and then you're like, you're like reposting all your athletes' stories and they're just like the exact same thing. And you're saying it's personalized program. Just say what it is.
Yeah.
Even call it semi-bespoke if you're changing a few things.
Okay, what's your walkout hype song?
I think like Ptolemaea maybe would be a good one. Like skip ahead to the screaming.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course.
I think that could work quite well.
I've been listening to Toucha, Toucha, Touch Me from the Rocky Horror Glee show because we watched that episode the other day, and Miss Pillsbury and Will Schuster.
She nailed it, but he was repulsive.
He was pretty gross.
It made me feel really sick.
Of the
No, stop
night.
it, please, because I'm just visualizing it. It's really horrible.
Sorry. But you've also got in there The Baddest, Joey Valence, and Aisha Erotica.
Joyride.
I'm just looking for a joyride.
A hype song of mine would be Uprising by Muse.
Yeah, no, that's on, what's the word I'm looking for?
Gets the people going.
A perpetual loop. Also, you're quite a big fan of the baseball scene from Twilight, so for that reason, Supermassive Black Hole gets a mention.
Yeah, the thing is I can't play that because
You think of the Twilight scene?
Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
unserious.
Yeah. Okay. What's your most controversial weightlifting opinion?
Delete the press out rule.
Delete.
Delete. Boring.
Okay, Cyberman.
Delete.
I don't think that's controversial, though.
Maybe it is, maybe because I don't think it is, but then I will speak to some people and they'll be like, it is a
You
good
don't
rule.
understand.
And it's just like, anytime the challenge card was played at Worlds, what's it played over?
Elbows.
What are any jury overturns and decisions made over?
Elbows. People do get up in arms over it, though.
This might be controversial. I think it impacts women more than men.
Pourquoi?
Because women have more joint mobility. I see it more on the female side, specifically elbow wobbles, and I think it's to do with like the joint mobility.
Fair. That's interesting.
And feel free to say that's a load of shit. I don't think it's a rule that's been put in place to punish women. I just think watching lifting, I think we see a lot more wobbles on the women's side.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't think I have a controversial opinion. What's your dream competition venue?
I think maybe a circus. So picture this. It's a round, big top. So it's
Big tops.
that's what they call the big circus tent. It's a round top. And then you've got people like juggling fire and you've got animals running around and there's really, really loud carnival music. And you've got a lift in the middle of there because I think that could be a little bit more overstimulating than the NEC. And I think that would be...
Just sounds like the NEC.
Maybe have some people running on the platform. That would be good, yeah.
My dream competition venue,
The Azura.
the P&O Azura. What's the best thing to shout at someone on the platform?
When they're quite a nervous lifter and they may be quite worried about their jerk, you just need to remind them that the clean's going to feel really hard too. Just to make sure that they're equally shitting themselves about the clean just as much
well as the jerk.
As well as the jerk.
That's the issue with weightlifters, is that they only panic about one thing and they need to panic about everything.
Yeah.
Also, cues don't have to mean anything, but they have to mean something to the athlete. So, for example, when Georgia coached me at the resilience comp, before I went out of my second clean and jerk, which was my nicest, she turned to me and she went, "Who's the baddest bitch in this club?" And I turned around and I went, "I'm the baddest bitch in this club."
Then he made the lift.
Okay, what's the worst thing that someone could shout at you on the platform? Can I answer for you? It is anything
Once
that
my hand
comes out of anyone's mouth other than Haribo.
That is true. He's the only person who can talk when I'm setting up for my lift, who then I wouldn't have a hit out on them.
Yeah.
I have previously held a finger up to someone and like put my hands on the bar and someone tried to talk and I went,
Yeah, it was probably me.
Yeah, so I don't like someone saying anything once I have entered my setup, which, you know, might take half an hour, but once I'm in the process of setting up,
Yeah, once you've
Shut up.
done your manic smiling.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the worst thing someone could shout at me on the platform. Probably like,
If you're lifting, I go, Link, your pork is ready.
Link, your pork is ready.
I was thinking more of the bit in SpongeBob where they host like the comedy hour in the Krusty Krab, and the guy goes, "Oh man, this guy stinks."
This guy stinks.
One thing that should be banned from warm-up rooms forever, not just for like next week, but like forever.
Men who don't wear deodorant.
You can just stop at men.
No.
Yeah, I think there should be mandatory pit sniffs on the way in.
Wouldn't you like to be on the door? I mean, some might say I don't want to see a labubu in the back room.
You better watch your fucking mouth. What should be encouraged in the back room? La bubus. La glubu.
That is not on the sheet. That's stick.
Let's stick to the pre-agreed answers. Okay, so if someone's actually listened all the way through this podcast and they're going, Georgia kind of knows what she's doing. Georgia's not like other girls, and she's kind of managed to wrangle this mentally unstable, incredibly ill, and fungal-ridden boy into...
And a boyfriend. Yeah, incredible. So if you want tips on how to slide into someone's DMs...
And I kind of want Georgia to coach me next year. Where should they go?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, because all the details for how you can work with me are in the show notes if you are listening or watching on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on the classic podcast channels. And if you are listening on or watching on YouTube, then technically that would be referred to as the description.
You've been recording this?
Yeah, I've got a few options. I've got the Athlete Nutrition Blueprint, which is my all-in-one nutrition program that teaches you how to fuel like an athlete. So whether you are an absolute beginner to the gym or you are an elite level athlete, it will teach you everything from how to track your food to how much to eat. I'll give you personalized macros and calories. You will learn how to adjust them, whether you want to lose fat, build muscle, body recomposition, reverse diet, and whether you want to lose fat right now, but you want to build muscle at some point next year. It covers everything, so you're not having to buy like a fat loss program and then a muscle gain program. It's all in one place. Even teaches you how to periodize your nutrition, which is something I spoke about earlier. So planning your nutrition phases to align with your competition phases and your training blocks. And unlike a lot of nutrition coaching programs, it is a one-off payment, or you can split the cost if that works better for you. And all the details about that are below.
It's a nutrition program to end all nutrition programs.
Pretty much. And I've also got a few spaces for some personalized training programs and also some bolt-on programs. So like if you are training pretty consistently, but you want a specific program to build your squat, you don't want a whole program overhaul, but you want like 2 or 3 sessions a week, then I've got a squat program, pull-up program, and a strength training program designed specifically for runners.
Yeah, to get faster and stronger.
And we'll have more of them coming in 2026.
Yeah. Okay, so someone wants to get strong. They want to start having a meltdown. Not me. I would like to continue to have them. And obviously they're going to stop winging their nutrition and they're going to join A and B. How can they do that? Where can they find A and B?
The link in the show notes and the link in the description.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the link.
The link.
Check the link.
But where can they find you?
On Instagram and on TikTok.
At
Georgia.Radley on TikTok and Georgia Radley Nutrition on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm also Georgia.Radley on Instagram as well. And obviously YouTube. Hit subscribe.
Your famous bloggers on YouTube.
If you have questions, if you've got topics that you'd like me to do episodes on, please leave comments, because I would much rather do a video on something that I know is going to help someone than topics that I think are going to help someone.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. Well, thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here, Harry. You're always here, but thank you for being here.
I didn't know this was happening. Well, I am in queer media.
Anyway, this has been The Unfiltered Athlete.
More unfiltered than athlete in this one.
So unfiltered that I don't know if this episode is ever going to air, because it's going to kill me trying to edit it. But
I reckon you can be more liberal with the editing of this one.
I don't think you understand how...
No, I don't. I don't understand
You don't understand the editing process. No, you don't.
No. Okay, all right, goodbye.
Bye.